Welcome back, everybody. Today we're diving into Blue Origin's latest launch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, NS-28, their 28th new Shepard flight. It really got me thinking about how space travel is becoming more and more, well, normal.
Right.
I mean, this was Blue Origin's and ninth human space flight.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like, just a few years ago,
I know.
we all thought astronauts were these, like, super elite,
Right.
highly trained, like, almost superhuman. And now
Yeah, and now it's like,
we're seeing, like, regular people.
yeah, exactly. There have already been 47 people who've flown with New Shepard.
I know. And 3 of them have flown twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, speaking of the passengers, the crew, this mission, NS-28, had quite the group.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Emily Calandrelli,
Yeah.
the space gal.
Oh, sure.
She's all about, making STEM exciting for everyone.
I think that's so important these days,
I
like
agree.
getting everyone excited about science and space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and she's an MIT engineer, a TV host, an
Oh, wow.
author. I mean, talk about an impressive resume.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Then there's Sharon and Marc Hagle.
Oh, right?
This is actually their second trip with Blue Origin.
Oh, wow. They're those repeat flyers.
Yeah, there's those repeat flyers.
Yeah.
And they're, philanthropists and entrepreneurs.
I guess when you go that big on Earth,
Yeah.
space is the next step.
Right.
What else is there?
What else is there? And then there was,
Oh, is this the contest winner?
yeah, Austin Litteral.
Hmm.
He won his seat through a contest on whatnot.
Oh, wow.
It just blows my mind. You're, going about your day and suddenly you're going to space.
I know. It's like winning the lottery, but better.
Way better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, then we've got J.D. Russell.
Okay.
He's an entrepreneur who supports education and first responder families.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, his story I thought was really interesting.
It is.
Like he's using his success to, to give back in a really meaningful way.
It's not just about, personal achievement, right? It's like he went to space.
Yeah.
And now he wants to do something good.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
And finally, Hank Wolfond.
Okay.
Now, I love these little details. He's a Canadian CEO,
Okay.
but he's also a licensed pilot.
Really?
Yeah, for both airplanes and helicopters.
Wow. Overachiever?
Right. Achieving at the highest levels in business, but he also has this, adventurous side.
That's cool. It really speaks to that, that human desire to just, push the boundaries, explore. For someone who's already done so much, space must be the ultimate challenge.
Right.
The final frontier.
Okay, before we move on, I have to talk about the NS-28 mission patch.
The patch.
Yeah. Now, you might think
I mean, yeah.
it's just a patch.
Sure.
But trust me,
Okay.
these patches,
Yeah.
they're like these little time capsules full of symbolism.
Oh, okay.
And this one, it's got all these little details about the crew and their stories.
Oh, that's cool.
So, right away, you see the bright pink.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nod to Emily Calandrelli.
Oh, right.
She always wears those bright pink overalls,
I've seen pictures, yeah.
And then there's this 2 with a line through it
Oh, yeah.
for the Hagle second flight.
Very clever.
Right. What else do you see?
Well, there are these stars, right?
Yeah.
I think those are for Austin Litteral, like everyday people among the stars.
Oh, I like that.
And then at the bottom, those figures, I think those are about J.D. Russell and, how he wants future generations to explore space.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
And of course.
Oh, and the wolf.
Yes. The wolf peeking out of the capsule window.
Frank Wolfond.
So clever.
I love that.
It's just amazing how they take this simple patch
Yeah.
and turn it into this symbol, For the crew, their hopes, the whole message of the mission.
Yeah, it's really cool.
What do you think about, the role of symbolism in space?
Oh, I think it's really important. Like, for most people, space is this abstract thing. But these symbols, these stories, they make it relatable, they make it inspiring.
Absolutely. But this mission,
Yeah.
it wasn't just about sending 6 people to space for a few minutes.
Yeah, definitely not.
This is about a private company sending people to space routinely.
It's incredible.
What kind of, ripple effects do you think this will have?
Well, for one, I think the cost is gonna have to come down, right?
Okay, so space travel could actually become more affordable.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, as these companies like Blue Origin,
Yeah.
they keep refining their processes.
Yeah.
They launch more and more.
Yeah.
The cost is gonna have to go down.
Okay, so that begs the question.
Yeah.
What does this mean for, the average person.
Yeah. Are we all going to be booking our space vacations?
All right.
I mean, it's probably too early to say for sure.
Okay.
But I think it's safe to say we're entering this new era.
Yeah.
Where space is no longer this distant dream.
I'm excited to see where it goes. Yes. But it's not all, sunshine and rockets, right?
Right.
There are some people who are concerned.
Oh, of course.
About the environmental impact of all this.
Yeah, definitely.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we have to be mindful of it.
Yeah.
The environmental impact is real, especially, rocket launches.
Yeah.
All those emissions, space debris.
I read that they contribute to, ozone depletion.
Oh, right.
And like the buildup of black carbon in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's serious stuff.
It is, yeah.
What's being done to fix this?
Well, there's a lot of research into sustainable rocket fuel and propulsion systems. Companies like Blue Origin, they're investing in technologies that are meant to, minimize the footprint.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it's definitely something we need to keep an eye on,
right?
As the industry keeps growing.
It's not just about reaching for the stars, right?
It's about taking care of our planet, too.
Exactly.
It's a balancing act.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, reading through all this material, I was struck by something that Phil Joyce said.
Okay.
He's a senior VP at Blue Origin.
Oh, yeah.
And he talked about building a road to space for the benefit of Earth.
Interesting.
That really got me thinking, how do you see space exploration benefiting Earth in practical ways?
Well, we already depend on space tech for so much communication, navigation, weather forecasting.
Yeah.
And as it gets, easier and cheaper to go to space, the possibilities just explode.
Okay, so we're not just talking about satellites.
No.
What else is there?
Think about research experiments in microgravity that we just can't do here.
Oh, right.
Breakthroughs in medicine, materials, even clean energy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the adventure.
Yeah.
It's about solving problems back here.
Exactly.
Okay, let's be real, though. Some people think this whole private space race, it's just billionaires showing off.
Oh, yeah.
Escaping a planet that, well, they help mess up.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
How do you respond to that?
I think it's a valid concern.
Okay.
And the industry has to take it seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a risk that it could become a playground for the super rich. But you have to remember, every new technology goes through this.
Right.
Early adopters, they can afford it. But over time, the cost comes down.
Right.
More people get access.
So it's too early to judge.
Exactly.
You need to give it time.
Yeah. But we have to keep having these conversations. Make sure the benefits are shared.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. So we've talked about the good stuff.
Okay.
The benefits.
Yeah.
But what about the risks?
Aside from the environmental stuff? There's the risk of, militarization.
Oh, of space?
Yeah. As more countries, more companies get up there, competition could turn into conflict.
Oh, man. We've seen what happens here on Earth.
Exactly.
When competition leads to, tension or even war.
Yeah.
Is there any way to prevent that up there?
It's a tough question.
Yeah.
I think international cooperation is key.
Oh.
We need rules, regulations for space travel, for resources.
Oh, like a space traffic control.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it's not just governments. Private companies have to be responsible.
Right, yeah.
Transparent, ethical.
There's so much to work on.
No.
Technology, policy.
So.
But I have to admit, this whole topic it gets me excited.
Oh, me too.
It feels like we're on the edge of, a new era of discovery.
Totally.
Yeah, and this NS-28 mission.
Yeah.
With this diverse crew.
Yeah.
Focusing on the future of space travel.
Right.
It feels like a snapshot of all that.
It does. It really does.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more thing. This idea of space as a resource.
Oh, right.
We talked about, research exploration. But there's also, mining asteroids.
Right.
Harvesting solar energy.
Yeah, that could change everything.
I know. Solve energy scarcity.
Exactly.
But, well, we haven't exactly been great at managing resources here.
Yeah.
How do we not mess this up, in space?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
We have to be careful.
Yeah.
We need international agreements to govern all of this.
It sounds like we're entering an era where space isn't just a place to go.
Right.
It's a source of possibilities, but also potential problems.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
It really is.
It is.
So much to consider.
Yeah.
So much at stake.
It's definitely.
But before we get too existential,
Right.
I think it's time to...
yeah, maybe bring it back down to earth a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bring it back down to earth a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for our listeners out there, the ones who maybe haven't been, following every single space flight,
Right.
what's the one thing you want them to remember from this deep dive?
I'd say it's that space isn't this, distant place for just governments and astronauts anymore.
Yeah.
It has becoming more accessible,
Right.
more relevant to, everyday life.
Yeah.
In ways we're only starting to understand, really.
It's not just about, watching a rocket launch on TV.
Right.
It's about how that launch affects us here on Earth.
Exactly.
New technologies, new jobs, new ways of thinking about, everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible.
I know. I've been following this for a while, but
Yeah.
going through all of this stuff with you, it's really opened my eyes.
It's such a dynamic field.
Okay, so for our listeners who are, hooked now,
Yeah.
where should they go to learn more?
Oh, there are so many great resources online. You've got space.com, the Planetary Society.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
Tons of information. News, articles, in-depth stuff.
Yeah, and books and podcasts,
Oh, of course.
documentaries, all that.
Yeah, and don't forget social media.
Oh, that's right.
Follow scientists and engineers on Twitter, Instagram.
Behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So as we wrap up this deep dive
Yeah.
on NS-28 and the future of private spaceflight,
Right.
I have one last question
Okay.
for you and for our listeners.
All right, hit me.
Now that you've seen the possibilities, the challenges
Yeah.
of space travel,
Yeah.
what really intrigues you? What question
Hmm.
are you taking away from all this?
Well, space is huge, right?
Yeah.
And what we know about it is always changing. So I think the most important thing is to never stop asking questions,
Okay.
to keep learning, to keep that sense of wonder.
Beautifully said.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us on this journey to, the final frontier.
It's been fun.
Until next time, keep looking up. Bring it back down to earth a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for our listeners.
Who, haven't been following every detail of space exploration.
Right. Right.
What would you say is the most important thing to remember from all this?
I think, space isn't just this far-off thing anymore, It's not just for governments and astronauts.
Right.
It's becoming more and more a part of our lives.
Yeah.
And we're just starting to see how, really.
It's not just about, those cool rocket launches we see on TV.
Right. Exactly.
It's about what those launches do for us here.
Yeah.
New tech, new jobs.
Oh, absolutely.
New ways of thinking about, our place in the universe.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It really is.
Okay, so for our listeners who are now, totally fascinated by space,
Yeah.
where should they go to learn more?
Oh, there are some fantastic resources out there.
Okay, like what?
Well, online, you've got websites like space.com.
Oh, yeah, space.com.
Planetary Society.
Oh, great.
Tons of information.
Yeah.
They've got news, articles, all sorts of in-depth stuff.
Yeah, and there are always books, podcasts,
Of course.
documentaries, all that.
And don't forget about social media.
Oh, right, like following scientists and stuff.
Yeah. Like on Twitter, Instagram, you can follow scientists, engineers, even astronauts.
Get that behind-the-scenes look.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Blue Origin's NS-28 mission
Yeah.
and the future of private spaceflight,
Right.
I have one last question
Okay.
for you and for everyone listening.
All right, let's hear it.
After learning about all this, the possibilities, the challenges,
Yeah.
what aspect of space travel intrigues you the most? What question are you taking away from all this?
That's a great question. Well, space is vast.
Yeah.
And we're constantly learning new things about it.
Right.
So I think the most important thing is to just keep asking questions.
Okay.
To keep learning and never lose that sense of wonder.
I love that.
Me too.
Well, thanks for joining us on this journey
It's been my pleasure.
to the final frontier, as they say.
Absolutely.
And to all our listeners, until next time, keep looking up.